me feeling like I'm academics. Can't
Who the gives a shit? 200K? Who 250K? Who turning down 250K a month? What the is going on in that relationship that 250K ain't enough?
Could see some things.
That ain't worth 250K. That's gotta be some dark. Like, people are not understanding that girl quit 250K. 4 million every quarter. Well, I'm sorry, $1 million every quarter.
Shit.
Now, she was getting 2 million a quarter, but then she got, you got going on that's so deep that it ain't worth $1 million a quarter.
People immediately rushed to social media and dragged Miami to filth for sticking with Diddy despite all of the things that she knows he's done to Gina and countless other victims. One person said, "The Cassie and Diddy situation is why I will always look at young Miami weird as F. Like, girl, you know he's a disgusting creature." Another person said, "Young Miami came to an award show with a big sign for that man, standing out, being Diddy's biggest cheerleader. Trust and believe she's doing everything he's asking/telling her to, and then some. LOL. Ain't no grooming. That woman is okay with everything going on in his house." But now I want to know your thoughts. Do you think Gina is gonna file a lawsuit and press charges against Diddy? Maybe even Miami too? Y'all know what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.
All right. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. Making a band people are actually they're like beefing with each other. So it looked like, Chopper from Making a Band, and his story he's been kind of like really neutral. He's like, yeah, Diddy was bad, but a lot of the other people were with it too. He's been kind of keeping it like that. And it appears that Sara, if you don't remember her from the band, she's also chiming in, but she's mad at Chopper because she feels that Chopper is now picking up for Diddy and trying to make him look like less of a monster. Okay, let me see if I can figure out what the hell did Sara Stokes Chopper. Okay, I guess this is it.
Honest, you heard me? I can't be a person that, I can't do that. I just can't be fake, bro. So I'm gonna keep it G. It's all respect and love for Sara, But at the end of the day, I would say, I don't think that's true. And the reason why I would say that there is because at the end of the day, Diddy used to come down. We had the Making the Band penthouse. This one we already made the band. You did. Diddy used to come downstairs like 3, 4 in the morning, bruh, and tell Sara, like, come on. And she'll get up and she'll go with him. And then she'll come back down about 4 hours later, hair messy, makeup all smeared up, drunk, and looked like she got period. And she did that at least 3 to 4 times, multiple times. So I don't think that that's true that man violated her. I think that she was ecstatic, she was bucked up, and she couldn't wait to fuck him. And that's just my opinion. And everybody used to talk about Sara fucking Diddy anyway around the Bad Boy office. So I don't think that's true. And there's no disrespect to Sara, but 100 is 100. And you got to keep it real, yeah. And I just don't feel like Sara was telling the truth because I seen it with my own eyes, Did it fucking on that girl buku times. And she was not feeling violated or nothing. She was happy. Facts. And she thought that, you heard me, courtesy of her fucking on him, that she was going to get privileges. And did it drew it to the side like she was nothing.
Damn.
And no offense to Sara, but that's just my opinion and that's my truth. And I'm keeping it real. I don't think Diddy violated her. Facts. Because Sara used to get drunk, and Sara used to get drunk on her own. Like on Making a Band, that was, and Sara, and shout out to Sara though, but that's the first time I had alcohol in my life. with Sara, and I had a Long Island iced tea. That was my first drink in my life. I hated weed smoke. I hated alcohol. I hated all that shit growing up. And I grew up in the ghetto, and I hated all that shit. But when I got around Sara, I started drinking, and to this day I still drink. Bad habit, but I kind of like it. But yeah, bro, Sara used to get drunk, and she tend to do things she shouldn't be doing as a married woman. And
What?
I'm just gonna say at the end of the day, that's what I seen, that's what I know, and it is what it is. Sara used to get drunk, get freaky, and do things she shouldn't have been doing. So Diddy violating her, that's cap. She was excited to do it. Facts.
Shit.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody told me behind the scenes that she was messing around with Genuine. You know anything about that?
All right, so I'm gonna say this here. And like, you see how you asked me about Diddy and Sara? I 100% confirmed that because I used to see her come down looking like she got and then word around Bad Boy was she was getting by him. With the Genuine situation, we was in Mobile, Alabama, you dig? And Genuine stayed a couple doors down from me. And Genuine knocked on my door. And when he knocked on my door, he was like, "What's down, Chop?" I'm like, "What's down, bruh?" He was like, "Say, where's Sara at?" Like, I don't understand how that went that way. Why would he say that there? But he knocked on my door and said, "Where's Sara at?" I'm like, in my mind, because back in the G, you know, Sara was married. And in my mind, I thought Sara was like the goodest, goody two-shoe, look, you know, pretty woman ever, innocent. And when he said that to me, I'm like, "Nick, what?" And he was like, "Nick, I got 2 girls in here." He said, "I got 2 girls in here. You know, tell me what room Sara in. You heard me? And you can come in here and these bitches." And I'm young and dumb. So I kind of took him up on that offer and I went into the room. Crazy, but I went into the room and knocked both of the bitches down. Paused, but that nigga low-key was like in that motherfucker watching and playing 50 Cent on a laptop. That shit was wild. But I'm young and dumb and I'm
Oh, shit. That was a freak off, the Genuine freak off. Holy shit. Nah, Chopper giving it up.
You know, back in the G, you know, fucking bitches with your partners and all that shit. That used to be cool back in the G. You dig? So I didn't look at it like a bad thing. I looked at it like I'm living rapper heaven. I'm fucking 2 hoes, you heard me? And after that shit was over with, you dig? I told him what room Sara was in. And I'm just gonna say at the end of the day, he left out of his room and he came back in his room hours later. So I don't know what happened. He could have been walking in the park, but I doubt it. That's just my opinion about it. Facts.
Facts. Nah, Chopper. Chopper giving it up. Chopper giving it up, bro.
And I don't know if this is true. This is something I heard behind the scenes. So, but I heard Sara, she was messing around with Freddie P.
Yeah, she did. Fred definitely knocked it down for sure. But that's how it all started, though. You heard me? That's how it all started, bro. It started with Fred knocking it down. That's when I looked at Sara like a totally different type of woman. Because in my mind, growing up, you heard me? I thought like the married people were like 100 forever together, you dig? And Sara low-key, high-key, triple-key changed my perception of how I see women, you dig? And I hate to say that, yeah, but changed my whole perception, you know, because I remember Fred, you did, and Fred, don't judge me, baby. You know I love you, but you know, Chop gonna keep it real. You know, and that was a wild life we had at that moment. So keeping it real and, you know, telling the history of our life, our journey is dope to me. So I'm going to say it. Fred was like, Chop. He's like, sit it. Sara. I said, no, you didn't, bitch. He said, yes, I did. Nick. I said, no, you didn't. He was like, I did. I said, how much you want to bet you ain't Sara? He said, I'll bet my show money. And that's how me and Fred used to get down. Our bets used to be the show money with each other. So he was like, let's bet the show money. So I was like, all right, cool. So the next city we went to, you heard me, the deal was this here. Fred was going to leave a latch. He leave a latch so it could be compatible with the door so I can be able to walk in, you know. And if I walk in and see it, I lost the bet. And basically that's exactly what happened. We went to another city. We was actually in New York City and we was standing in a hotel. And Fred texted me, and back in the G, it used to be Sidekicks. Remember Sidekicks?
Yeah, I remember them, yeah.
Yeah. Fred hit me on my, that was the you hear me? But Fred hit me on the sidekick and was like, Nick, I'm in the room. Come on, I left the latch open for you. So I'm excited. I ain't gonna count with you, brother. I'm excited. You did, because I always wanted to see Sara naked. I'm sorry, I did. So I'm coming over there. I'm creeping, you dig? I'm creeping and excited. I can't wait. I open the door. I come creeping through the door. I turn right. You dig? I pass the bathroom, you heard me? I go right. Sara tearing this nigga up, son. I'm talking about fucking the shit out of Fred. And Fred, she riding Fred, and Fred looking at me, and he's sucking his dumb as shit. I was joked out, son. You heard me?
You're lying, Chopper. This nigga wasn't sucking his thumb while getting some pussy. Hell nah.
And then Sara, I made a mistake and walked backwards, you dig? And when I walked backwards, it was probably some M&Ms, you heard me? Or some Skittles, you dig?
M&Ms or Skittles? No way.
And I made a mistake and stepped on it, and Sara looked back and jumped off Fred. Was like, oh my God, you know, and crying by the wall and I'm like, Sara, say, bro, it's all gravy. I don't care. I was like, I already know.
It's all gravy, baby.
She said, you already knew? I said, yes. Fred said he already done it before. Fred, you running your mouth and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, Fred used to knock Sara down for sure. Yeah, Fred used to shot at Sara. No doubt about it. Tell her what's up. Fred loves Sara, dog. He used to love Sara. Facts.
Why they didn't make it official?
Because Sara was married. How you gonna make something official and you got a family to go home to? You dig? And her husband would have gone and tried to kill her. He would have found that out. But we kept that a secret a long time around there. We did, as long as we could. You heard me? But everybody know Fred was knocking it down. Believe that.
So Diddy was fucking her and Fred?
But Fred, what really happened though, Fred started feeling the way, you know, when Diddy started knocking it down, Fred wasn't feeling that shit. He gonna say he don't remember when Diddy knocking it down and started feeling the way, but he was knocking it down and Fred started feeling the way. So that was enough. That was the end of the Fred and Sara era, you know, when Diddy started just fucking her. Facts.
So when Sara and Freddie P was messing around, I remember on Making a Band, her husband, he used to come on the show. Was they messing around at that time too?
No, absolutely not. I think, in my opinion, I think her husband knew what was down with Sara as a person. So I think that he was trying to protect her. You dig? Protect her from embarrassing herself. And that's just my opinion. You dig? He was trying to protect her from embarrassing herself, which eventually ended up happening anyway, because the more that he wasn't around is the more she started doing her. Because I'm starting to feel like, she was probably trying to run from him. You dig? So when he wasn't able to be in control on Making a Band, like how he's normally in control, obviously in her life, you know, she was running like a free slave. And she was cutting the fuck up because obviously she must hate.
Hilarious. Anyway, Sara responded to that.
Ask anybody that is really speaking out. A lot of them be like, I was afraid to. Or if I did, I didn't think nobody was going to believe me. No way. You know what I'm saying? And some of them have and was shut up. Yep. What up, Nikki? Hey! What's up? Thank you, honey. I be trying. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all y'all for loving me and showing so much support. Y'all have no idea, especially from what I have just been. Thank you so much. Is it Julius? Julius? I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Like, oh my God, see, that's the thing. There's so many lies. Like, man, y'all don't understand. I was about to say something real crazy, but I have to tell myself no, Sara, because God is going to, he's going to fix all of those lies. He's going to turn that stuff around because yes, they are lies. They are lies. And it's really
Diddy was cracking.
Sad that it's coming from somebody that you would think would be supportive of you. And which is what I heard him say, is he supported me and was proud of me and was going to stand up for me. And then he went on there and he completely did the opposite and lied on top of it And so now you got everybody looking at it like, oh my God, she did. And I'm just sitting there looking at this interviews and stuff like, what is wrong with you?
Yo, this nigga Chopper said this chick slept with everybody. Wait, there's another one. Chopper exposes Sara for sleeping with Kobe. Even Kobe, bro. Nah, this is crazy. Nah.
Sara, how you feel about that lawsuit she filed against Puffy?
Sara is Saraing, if that makes any sense. I feel like it was coming. I felt like, you heard me? Sara felt like I was sabotaging her for her getting the suit. Now, on one behalf, Mighty Brett, I feel like she's right on the terms of, Diddy making us sleep in the same bed together. The things that Diddy was making us do, I don't think a female was, supposed to be in that situation. That I do believe and that I do feel. And you know me, bruh, I'm not biased. I'm unbiased to bull crap. You heard me? I just believe that on one point she's right. On another point, she's trying to money grab. And I felt like Sarah's doing exactly what everybody else feel like. We got done dirty. We didn't get our just due. We didn't get what we deserved from the hard work and the safe. And luckily and fortunately, I'm a hustler. So it's towards it was actually like the realest thing that was happening. Made the band. But cameras, well, sorry about that. You heard me? We got so used to the cameras that it became normal. So we really quite didn't realize how much of history we were making. Yet and still how much of trauma we was going through as well. That makes sense? So it's a bittersweet situation with Sara. And then, from the interview that I did last time, you dig, some people felt like I was putting Sara on blast and it wasn't my business to put her business out there with Fred. And I thought long and hard on it. And I said to myself, maybe they right. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to please people's opinions. I'm here to speak my truth. And I kept it real for the culture. At the end of the day, I'm unbiased to everything I'm talking about. I kept it real. I even put myself out there. You heard me? That's how unbiased I am. So, but I couldn't let Sara lay back there, get on the documentaries and speak false about Diddy, because that's not what happened. And that's just the real. I'm going to keep it real. If you don't want the real, you heard me, don't be around me. You dig? Whatever you say, you heard me, to my face or whatever you do, be able to take it on every outlet as well. Be 100 about everything that you do. Maybe it wasn't my business to put it out there, but at the end of the day, it was my business. Period. It was and it wasn't. You did take it how you wanna. Believe that. That's how I felt about that. And like I say, I feel like it's a bittersweet situation. Is because
all right, what about Kobe?
I don't think Diddy owe us anything, yet he owe us what we worked hard for. So, Sara doing whatever she do, I think it's a bittersweet situation of whatever she's doing. I don't think 100%, that it's coming from a malice situation, yet it's coming from a malice situation. It's kind of like a take it how you want to outcome, if that makes sense, bruh. It's a take it how you want to outcome. Because she's doing it maliciously, and then she's actually could have been the first one. It didn't have to be Cassie taking the initiative to start it. If he sexually harassed you, you should have been the first one. And the show has been 20 years ago. It should be no reason in the world, you heard me, that you ain't been the first person to put it out there. Because honestly, I felt like that would have been a better outcome for you than trying to do it now. If that makes sense, bruh?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how you feel about her sending out cease and desist? She sent me one, you one. How you feel about that, man?
Oh, when it comes to us. I say, bruh, I didn't care. It's because at the end of the day, you got to have proof. And you got to go to court. You heard me? And I knew in my mind that Sara was going to lose that case, because at the end of the day, I was keeping it real. And then Fred doubled back. And Fred, basically, he didn't want to say it, but, he had to say it because it was the truth. Sara tried to put the cease and desist out there to make it seem like I was lying, but I wasn't lying. I was keeping it real. You dig? Everything I say on here is 100%. And that's why I love this platform, is because you bring people on here and people be brutally honest. And I'm one of those people. So I guess the people respect honesty. So I didn't feel no way about the cease and desist. How did you feel about the cease and desist? Damn, that's crazy, huh? How you feel about it? Situation? Did it sound like I was Jaguar writing? Did it sound like I was exaggerating it? Or did it sound like I was keeping it real? From what you thought at the moment towards when it finally happened, towards you knew I was keeping it real. You know?
Nah, it sounded like you was keeping it real.
Thank you, because I was. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Sara, though.
But speaking of Sara, right, before we get off of her, and you already know I get a whole lot of emails and DMs from people giving me information. So, I want to ask you and see if you know. I heard she was messing around with Kobe.
Who told you that?
Hey, somebody emailed me that. Somebody told me the next time I interview you, ask you about that.
I would 100% say that was actual factual. Rest in peace to the greatest of all time. You heard me? And I don't want to say anything to disrespect his
Yo, this chick done fucked everybody, bro.
family, but I got to keep it real. Yeah, she had a little rapport with Kobe too. Yeah.
Yo, everybody was cracking. Kobe, Freddie P.
Sure, I ain't gonna cap about that.
Email me that. Somebody told me the next time I interview you, ask you about that.
I would 100% say that was actual factual. Rest in peace to the greatest of all time. You heard me? And I don't want to say anything to disrespect his family, but I got to keep it real. Yeah, she had a little rapport with Kobe too. Yeah, for sure. I ain't gonna cap about that. You did, but I don't really know the story with Sara and Kobe of like seeing them encounter and leaving with each other. But I know for sure that Sara has spoke on dealing with Kobe Bryant, 100%. And I know the people gonna be like, oh, he talking about the mom, but you heard me. But look, I'm Chopper City. Chopper City gonna keep it real, and that's facts because it came out of her mouth. Big old facts. Sara definitely spoke on having a situationship with Kobe Bryant. But rest in peace to the best. You did. Sara crazy, huh, bro? Promiscuous girl.
Hilarious.
I can't say.
Okay. All right. I don't know if we got more tweets. Like it's been like slow today on the updates.